All right, everybody, welcome back here to this Metallica album review series. Of course, last time we left off at the cover album, the final album in the 90s, Garage Inc. This time, we're entering into the 2000s. It's 2003, and of course, we're talking about the very controversial Saint Anger. Really cool packaging here. Um, it's got like the single artwork for like some kind of monster. Comes with a DVD as well. Pretty cool. Just pretty cool overall package you get here with this one. Um, but yeah, we see our first lineup change since the freaking Black album, right? So it's been a minute since we've had a lineup change. Of course, Jason Newsted is now not in the band at this point. Um, and this is actually even before Robert Trujillo joined the band, right? So they were just having to get Bob Rock, the producer, to hop in on bass. And he does a decent job at it. Um, but what we've got here is an album that just is hated on by many, many. In my opinion, as we'll find out here, I think it's overhated, right? Not overrated, but overhated, and and it almost seems kind of like the trend now to hop on like, oh yeah, Saint Anger, the worst album of all time, right? But you know, everybody's got their own opinion on this, but yeah, and also the story kind of behind this album here, the band was pretty much wanting to break up, right? They were just in turmoil, constant arguing and disagreements and stuff like that. There's a whole documentary on it, right? And but they were contractually obligated to make another album, so you get this angry, pissed off album aptly titled Saint Anger. And anyways, yeah, the production as well, this on this thing is it's bad, but in a way that I like, dirty and muddy and raw, right? Just nasty sounding, but in a good way. Because sometimes albums get, it does them justice, kind of having that just gritty production, and I think that's the case on here. So we kick it off though with Frantic, which right off the bat you hear these kind of tin pan sounded drums right for Lars. And I used to absolutely hate that. This is an album that the first time I ever listened to it all the way through, I was not a fan at all. But over the years, it's really just grown on me, and I've appreciated it more and more. And with tracks like this here, Frantic, it's got a cool riff and everything. No guitar solos on this album, which is pretty strange, but it kind of adds this brooding, kind of dark feeling. Just like they're not having a good time soloing around or anything. They're just, they're just going at it. And Frantic here is, it's got I like the kind of breakdown, kind of the clean kind of guitar tone, kind of sounds dark. And again, that kind of tin pan garbage can sounded um drum sound that Lars gets on here with that snare mainly. I get how that could be annoying because it used to annoy the hell out of me, right? But I just kind of like it for what it is now, right? I mean, obviously that's not what I would prefer him to sound like. I prefer a lot of pretty much this drum sound on all the other albums, but like I kind of like it though, like for this in the context of this album. But anyways, yeah, Frantic, great song. One of my favorites off here for sure. I love the, kind of the post chorus, like my lifestyle determines my death style. I mean, that's just some cool freaking lyrics, man. It just really, really pissed off. You get that feeling right off the bat here with that one. Then we go on to track number two, which is I've always liked, right? Saint Anger. I've always thought that was a pretty damn cool song, even whenever I didn't like this album. It's got, really, really heavy, really, really, really fast. This is like their heaviest album that we've seen of them in a minute, since we've been covering, Garage Inc., the Load and Reload and all that. So, I mean, and even, this is, I'd even go as far as saying this is heavier than the Black album, right? But this is, Saint Anger is just an angry, angry song, just like the title says. I mean, you do get kind of your clean vocals and kind of clean guitar tones in the verses, which sound really cool. James is singing great on here. And then, you get into, there's a big old parental advisory sticker on here because he's saying fuck it all and fucking no regrets. You know, tie your noose, hang myself, saying anger around my neck. I mean, just brutal, angry, dark time stuff, and it's just fast paced. Um, during the, like especially in, like the intro, and then right before you kick into the verses. Um, one of my favorites off here. Great song, just like Frantic. I think those are two just incredible songs, and then the pace keeps going well with Some Kind of Monster. I mean, damn, man, this one's kind of a lengthy one, which Saint Anger is too. It's about 7.5 minutes. I think it's about the same for Some Kind of Monster, maybe a bit longer. And it's kind of got a, almost kind of has a garagey kind of feel to it. Get kind of like especially in like the intro, kind of a really dark sounding guitar, muddy tone. But then you get back to that kind of, just that, that tin pan drumming kicking in, and you get that, just a really, really killer riff. And I love the way this riff and the verses are really, really hooky and just make you want to freaking headbang, man. And the chorus is badass too. So, again, Some Kind of Monster, one of my favorites off here, and an incredible song. I'm pretty sure that one even won some kind of award for them back then and everything. So apparently, it was like that one at least was liked by a lot of people. Probably when it was a single. Um, then we go on over to Dirty Window, track number 4. Solid track. Really kind of follows the theme here. Just the really, really heavy stuff. Cool, breakdowns and time changes here and there. Not anything like too complicated, right? As far as the time changes go. But it doesn't make for a song that doesn't have any guitar solos, in or I mean, an album that doesn't have any guitar solos. All the songs keep interesting, and Dirty Window is one of those that keeps it going. And just like the ones before it, they stay interesting because they're kind of changing things up throughout. Then we go to Invisible Kid, and I used to hate this one, man, and it's not one of my favorites off here. Um, Hell, I'd probably even say it's my least favorite off here. I mean, it's a little corny, kind of punky, but I do like it. I've grown to like it, but it is probably the one I least come back to on here. So decent song, which that's right. You heard me right. My least favorite song on here, I still kind of like. So I don't think this is a shit album like the majority of people out there. Then we go on to My World, which is very, very aggressive one. And one that I pretty much forgot about until, upon, I went back to re-listen to this thing, and I'm like, man, that is a really, really angry sounding one, and I'm digging it, man. Get your head banging, really cool stuff. Another solid one that kind of falls, much like where it falls on the track listing, kind of in the middle of the road for me. Not one of my favorites off here, but a damn solid and angry tune. Then we got Shoot Me Again, which is one that's kind of creeped up there as one of my favorites. I forgot about this, about this one too, and how good it was. I love the Shoot Me Again, I Ain't Dead Yet. I mean, it's pretty freaking cool. I mean, all these lyrics are really dark, and just brutal. And this one, just keeps that up here. I mean, they don't Saint Anger here. It doesn't let up with the aggression, and that's another thing that I really like about it. Then we go on to Sweet Amber, which is always one I've liked as well. But this one, on this re-listen, I didn't like it as much as I used to. Kind of ranked a little bit lower for me as far as that goes. As far as the whole album track listing goes, but I still do really dig it. But I do, because like used to, I would maybe say I like it better than, My World and Shoot Me Again. While now I'm more of like, I would put those two above this. But it is a really good song. It always has been one I liked, even whenever I did despise this album, like most people do. Then we go on to, man, this one has rose to possibly being my favorite off here, The Unnamed Feeling. I mean, wow, what a freaking song. You get like a very good singing again from James during these, especially during the chorus, that kind of soft, chorus with the clean guitar tones. And I love the transition kind of near the end where it does that chorus, that kind of softer chorus, and then kicks into it just except with like heavier, the distortion, and it's just like a heavier version of that chorus. Really kicks into gear. Love the verses. Just love, love, love this song. It is, absolutely one of my favorites off here, if not my favorite, which I probably would say it is. I mean, at this point, I've been jamming to that one lately and coming back to that one over and over again. So, I mean, it's absolutely just one that I completely slept on, in past listens, but has become my favorite at this point. So, then we go to the second last track here, Purify, and another solid one, kind of falls in the middle of the road there for me too. Fat keeps the pace going. Again, this pace does not slow down. You don't get any ballads on here. All just, fast paced, to the point, pissed off aggression, and Purify keeps that going and does it well, but not one of my favorites off here. Then we close it out with another big, epic length track. I think about 8 minutes here on this final one, which, again, there's quite a few tracks that are lengthy. The Unnamed Feeling is pretty lengthy as well, but All Within My Hands, the last track, really, really cool one. Another one that I was like, man, that one just really, sinks its teeth into you as it goes on, and James is, I mean, just singing really good. Yet again, I can't say enough how good his voice is on this album. Even like during like not just the cleans, of course, clean vocals, but like during like those aggressive, moments when he's shouting "All Within My Hands," really, really good song. That builds up very nicely and I think closes out the album perfectly. Um, so yeah, call me crazy. I'm not even just trying to say I like this album just to be in the minority, right? But I genuinely do not only like this album, I kind of love it at this point in time, which I know is nuts. But it's grown on me because I used to freaking hate it like everybody else. I was like, God, that tin pan, metal drum kit sound, that Lars has going, but I think it fits the album. And and this album is like the embodiment of anger, just like the title is, and you can see it if you watch that documentary about the band, and all their turmoil and how pissed off stuff they were. I mean, this is all that emotion. It was put out right on this thing right here. So it's really a cool, kind of time capsule too for that time in the band. But I think, for people who do hate it, because I did too, I definitely would say like, hey, try giving it a couple listens. Maybe it'll grow on you. And if it doesn't, I totally feel you. But to me, it's grown on me over the years where I absolutely love it. It's heavy as hell. Just an awesome listen front to back. And I've been, I've had it, playing quite a bit. Re-listened to it quite a bit. It's just grown on me even more. Since doing this review series here and getting to it, I'm like, man, because those tracks I kind of slept on before, even though whenever I did find myself enjoying the album, now I'm kind of rediscovering those tracks, and I'm just like, man, wow. So like, but again, I do understand the hate for it or whatever, but I think a lot of people do just kind of go into it thinking, oh, this is the worst Metallica album. Everyone says it is. Let me go ahead and just keep that negative mindset. Go into it with an open mind, and just be like, here's what it is. And when you might find yourself enjoying it and maybe end up loving it like I do. So yeah, Saint Anger, an album that I love. You heard it here, um, so I know that people might just say I'm not a Metallica fan or whatever because I like this album down in the comments, and it's like, okay, whatever, man. I mean, I've got all their albums, so if I'm not a fan, then if that doesn't make me a fan, I don't know what does, right? But and I like, if you watch the review series, then hey, you can see I'm a fan, right? But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, and would love to even hear you guys who still disagree, and still don't like it, like how many times you've maybe gave it a listen. And yeah, I think it'd be interesting. It's a very, very interesting album to talk about, and very controversial, very divisive, because there are some other people out there I've seen that have really started, kind of coming on board with it, being like, hey, I kind of like it for what it is, right? Um, and I'll say this too. What really got me to give it another listen and start appreciating it more is whenever I myself was shitting on it, right? Like a couple years ago on the Facebook page I run. Some of you I think have joined it. I've always put it down there um, in the description. The best damn show is what it's called. It's on Facebook, and we have theme days every day about music and stuff. And I was shitting on it, and then someone commented and there was like, man, I really like this thing, and he kind of was saying what I'm saying, kind of maybe give it another listen because he was saying like the stuff that I'm saying, how it's a time capsule for the band, and if you just really listen to it for what it is, and just take out, like thinking that, oh man, it's the worst Metallica album just because everybody says it is, you might find yourself enjoying it, and hell, at this point, I may even like this album, love it even more than that guy did after he kind of helped me, get back into it and kind of push me in the direction of giving it another listen. So, that's the beauty of this thing. Our opinions change all throughout the years and stuff. Some albums that we used to love, we now hate. Some albums we hate, we now love, right? And then rankings change all the time and stuff. That's the fun of all this and hearing each other's opinions. So that's definitely, I would love to get some conversation started up about this thing down there. But anyways, guys, yeah. Of course, that leads us to next time we have another lineup change because Bob Rock was just kind of, doing his thing here, playing on it because Jason was gone so quick and everything, right? Just like on such a short notice, and they were having to get this thing out. But, we'll get Robert Trujillo on Death Magnetic, which, fast forward 5 years, and that's where we'll be at. So 2008, Death Magnetic. Super hyped to be looking into that one again. We're getting, towards the tail end here of this review series. Of course, they've got their new album, 72 Seasons, coming out in April, and, that was announced kind of in the middle of this. That's happened several times in this channel, where Steve Vai, up whenever I was doing his stuff, an album came out. Iron Maiden, I was doing theirs, an album came out, right? And so it's crazy how that's happened, and now it's happening with Metallica, right? But I bet we'll be done with this by and ranking them by the time, because that's gonna be in April. We'll be done with this series by the time that comes out. So of course I will end up reviewing that, and then we'll go back and rank the albums again with that one included. So just kind of clarifying how that will go. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, comment, and tune in next time. Thanks, guys.